You know what women really love? It's not what you think. It's not the flowers, though they're lovely. It's not the grand gestures, though those can be nice. It's that quiet, almost secret recognition. When someone notices the small things that she thought no one saw, the way she changes her hair just a little, the way her eyes linger on something she secretly wants but won't say out loud. It's when you pay attention without making it a performance. When you remember something she mentioned once, casually, and you bring it back later as if it mattered, because it did. It's that moment of feeling seen without having to explain herself, understood without having to build a case for why she deserves it. And the funny thing is, it's never about extravagance. It's about presence. The kind that feels rare in a noisy world. It's the simplest thing, but it feels like magic when it's real. And when it happens, oh, she won't forget it. Women love the feeling of being quietly noticed for the little things they never point out. It is a form of recognition that goes beyond flattery, beyond the obvious, and reaches into the very core of their sense of worth. It is not the same as showering someone with loud declarations or making an announcement of admiration for the world to see. This is a quieter, softer, but far more potent form of attention. It is the moment when she realizes someone has been paying attention without needing to be told what to notice. It is when the tiny details that she thought slipped through the cracks are suddenly reflected back to her, proving that her presence is not just seen but felt. This kind of noticing doesn't have to be accompanied by words at all. It can live in an action, a choice, or even a look that says more than any speech could. Think about the way a woman might change her perfume slightly, maybe swapping her usual scent for something warmer, richer, softer. She doesn't announce it. She doesn't ask if anyone can tell. But when someone pauses, breathes it in, and says, "You smell different today, it suits you," that is a moment she holds close. Or maybe it's the way she lingers at a particular shelf in a store, eyes drawn to a book cover or a small piece of jewelry, but she moves on without a word. Weeks later, someone hands it to her, not as a grand surprise, but as a quiet acknowledgement that they remembered. That's the kind of noticing that makes her feel deeply valued. These moments matter because they affirm her individuality. Every woman, whether she admits it or not, wants to feel like someone is attuned to the subtleties of her world. The way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's deep in thought. The way she pauses before answering a question. The small shift in her tone when she's tired but doesn't want to say so. These are the threads that make up her unique tapestry. To see them is to see her, not just the image she presents, but the living, breathing person underneath. Quiet noticing requires a certain stillness of mind. It is the opposite of distracted affection. It's not about looking for what's impressive. It's about looking for what's true. In a world that constantly demands attention, be scattered in 1,000 directions, offering this kind of focused observation is rare. And because it's rare, it is treasured. It's not just about romantic relationships either. Friends, family, even strangers can create these moments. But I have a friend noticing that you've been wearing the same sweater more often lately and asking gently if you're okay. A co-worker remembering that you don't like ice in your water and bringing it to you just the way you prefer. These are all forms of being quietly noticed. For women especially, it is powerful because so much of the world's attention toward them is loud, superficial, and often self-serving. Quiet noticing, on the other hand, asks for nothing in return. It doesn't place her on display, it draws her inward. toward a sense of safety and intimacy. It tells her that she is not just filling space, but leaving an impression in subtle ways that matter. It's a respect for her existence beyond the obvious. There is also an intimacy in these moments that is unmatched. You can feel it in the way she reacts, sometimes with a surprised laugh, sometimes with a long pause as if she's trying to absorb the weight of being understood. Sometimes it's just a softening in her eyes, a quiet thank you that lingers in her voice. The beauty of it is that it's not about the scale of the gesture, but the precision of it. Anyone can give something big and obvious. It takes a different kind of connection to give something small and perfect, something that tells her you were really looking, really listening. This is why such moments stay with her. They are not tied to occasions or obligations. They are not about the performance of care, but the essence of it. And once she has experienced it, she will always remember the way it felt, like she was known in the smallest and truest ways. Women love genuine presence that makes them feel truly seen without having to explain themselves. Accustomed. There is something profoundly comforting about being with someone who doesn't require a running commentary on who you are or why you feel the way you do. Someone who can read the unspoken and still meet you where you are. This kind of presence is not just about being in the same room or sharing the same space. It is about an attentiveness that reaches beneath the surface. It is not heavy, not forceful, but it is unmistakably there. And you can feel it in the way they listen. Not to respond, not to judge, but to understand. For many women, the world often demands that they justify their emotions, explain their choices, or soften their truths to make them more acceptable. Genuine presence is the opposite of that. It is an unspoken agreement that she doesn't have to perform, doesn't have to package herself neatly, and doesn't have to hide the parts of her that feel messy or incomplete. It is the luxury of being entirely herself without fear of being misunderstood or dismissed. In that space, she can breathe differently, freer, deeper, and without the weight of constant self-monitoring. It is in the small, almost invisible behaviors that genuine presence shows itself. It might be the way someone holds eye contact when she speaks, signaling that they are not just hearing her words, but absorbing her meaning. It might be the way they notice when her energy shifts and respond without needing a dramatic cue. Sometimes it's the simple act of sitting together in silence, the kind where nothing needs to be filled because the air between you already feels full of understanding. That kind of quiet is rare, and when it's shared, it is unforgettable. There is also a sense of protection in being around someone with genuine presence. Not protection in the physical sense, but a safeguarding of her emotional space. It's the kind of presence that keeps the outside noise at bay. That doesn't allow the moment to be diluted by distractions. In a world obsessed with multitasking, putting the phone down, turning toward her and giving her undivided attention becomes almost revolutionary. It says, without words, right now, and you are my focus. That message is powerful not because it's grand, but because it is rare. Being truly seen without explanation also means being accepted in all her seasons. There are days she will be bright and full of laughter, and there are days she will be quiet and guarded. Genuine presence is steady through both, offering neither pressure to be more than she feels capable of nor withdrawal when she is less than her best. It is a stable anchor in a shifting emotional tide. For women, this consistency becomes a source of deep trust. Trust that she can let her guard down without risking disappointment. This kind of presence doesn't require constant talking, fixing, or advising. In fact, it often thrives in restraint. Knowing when not to speak is just as important as knowing when to. Sometimes the most affirming response is simply to stay, to listen, to let her thoughts find their own shape without interference. This patience communicates belief in her ability to navigate her own feelings while still offering the reassurance that she doesn't have to do it alone. When a woman experiences this, she feels more than just appreciated. She feels safe in a way that is difficult to describe but easy to recognize. It is the safety of being known without being dissected, valued without being put on display. It is the comfort of not having to explain the unexplainable, of being able to exist in her most natural state without fear of losing connection. Genuine presence wraps around her like an invisible shelter, allowing her to be vulnerable without feeling exposed. It is why she can remember a conversation or a moment with someone long after the details fade. She may not recall every word, but she will remember how deeply she felt understood. She will remember the weight that lifted when she realized she didn't have to defend her own heart. She will remember the quiet steadiness that stayed with her even after the moment passed, because presence like that leaves an imprint that doesn't wash away easily. When a woman feels quietly noticed and held in genuine presence, something inside her shifts. It is not about the size of the gesture or the poetry of the words. It is about the depth of connection she experiences in those moments. It tells her she matters beyond appearances, beyond roles, beyond the noise of the world. These are the kinds of experiences that weave themselves into her memory, not because they are dramatic, but because they are deeply human. They affirm that she is worthy of being understood in her most authentic form, without pretense or performance, in a time where distractions are constant and attention feels fractured. Giving a woman this level of recognition and presence becomes a rare gift. It nourishes her spirit in a way that is both grounding and uplifting, a quiet assurance that she can be wholly herself and still be fully valued. It is not just something she enjoys in the moment. It becomes a reference point for how she knows she should be treated. And once she has felt it, she will always carry the awareness of how powerful it is to be truly seen.